For many, a car is simply a means of getting about, a vessel in which to get from A to B. For others though, it's a source of escapism and even salvation. This is exactly what the Mazda MX-5 was able to offer one of my subscribers, Steve, as he explains in this video, although he almost never bought this car to begin with. So Steve, this or a Fiesta ST, why this?
It is mostly because this is the car that I could get hold of at the time from the dealership. The ST was a good car, but at the time it was too much of a hot cake and everybody wanted one and you just can't get hold of it. Even the dealers struggle to get hold of it. And I've asked not just one, I've asked 2 or 3 around where I live, and none of them could get hold of it for me. And I needed to get my car that I had at the time, which is a 308 GT Peugeot, shifted in a hurry. So I then went and had a drive in this. I took it away for a test drive because it was quite weird. They just gave me the keys and said, "Go on, son." And I took it away for a good 3 hours. I simply forgot to give it back.
You enjoyed it that much?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And good job I did buy it, otherwise I would have thought there might be quite miffed about it.
So you got the car the same day as you started your new job, and that's 4 days later?
4 days later after that.
Oh, I see, yeah.
No, I got the same. Oh no, I got this car the same day I started my new job.
Yeah.
And then 4 days after I had it, somebody ran into the back of it.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was coming out of work. I was waiting at a traffic light. Sorry, not traffic light, roundabout.
Yeah.
And this woman who stopped behind me in an Audi A4 van. Then, as I got to the first one to the line, I was looking to the right, and she just accelerated into the back of me.
Oh.
And that meant the bumper was a total loss.
Oh,
so
dear.
it had to go back to Mazda and get another new bumper.
Yeah.
But after that, there's no more incidents after that. And obviously it had been professionally repaired by Mazda themselves, and got a nice courtesy car for that, which is Mercedes A-Class, so that's not too bad. I was gutted though. I can't believe somebody just ran into the back of me when I only had the new car for 4 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a nice experience to begin with, but you've had some good ones with the car.
It is quite traumatic, that I would say.
You've taken it to a lot of places though, haven't you, whilst you've had the car?
Yeah, I did take it to a lot of places after that. Been to loads of different racetracks around me, like Brands Hatch, Thruxton, Silverstone, where I go and watch quite a lot of different races, like BTCC and British GT.
Yeah.
And I love it along the way there, especially Silverstone. When you're near Silverstone, drop the main roads, go for the smaller roads, you love it. Especially with a car like this.
Ever been tempted to take it out on track?
I would love to take it on track. The only thing that worries me is that this is my only car and I got to go to and from work with it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that happened to it on the track, then I wouldn't have...
Sorry to cut you off. You don't want to go down there because it's really tight.
Okay. Then I would have no car to go to work with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I always tempted, but never done it. I do have another car that I would take it to the track with, and that is an RX-8 PZ.
Oh, nice.
Mine was a grey one, tuned by ProDrive, and it was one of 380 ever made.
Wow.
Sadly, me and my friend decided to make it into a track car, so we take the back seats out, we put road cages in, and it's all straight piped and everything, so it's not really road legal anymore, I'm afraid.
No.
But yeah, if I was to go on the track, I would rather use that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also taken it to a lot of seaside cities as well, and I will be giving you some pictures that I've taken along the way. I've been to places like Hastings, Eastbourne, Brighton, and some of them are for work, some of them is just that I wanted to go there, because if you have a car like this, you're going to end up sitting at home wondering, where am I going to take it to, just for the hell of it. Go right, yeah?
Yeah.
I also drive it to raves as well, because I like trance. Yeah, I like trance music.
Oh, okay.
So I quite often go to clubs and parties with it. It does mean that I can't drink for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But then I also save a lot of money, because I don't have to pay for expensive train fares. I can go home whenever I want, and it gives me great sort of flexibility. So yeah, there are, you know, good things and bad things about it, but mostly it's about saving money so that I can go for more events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that works out quite well for me. There are a few events that I would go all out on it. In that case, I'll leave the car and I'll get really drunk before I even walked in the door. But yeah.
So it's fair to say this car's been a big part of your life. So how has it been during lockdown?
I'm 30 years old and I have never really experienced any like major crisis in life, like maybe your mum and dad would have been, like Cuban Missile Crisis, World War II, going back to your grandma and granddad perhaps.
Yeah.
This COVID thing is definitely one of the biggest crises we have in our generation. All of a sudden, the life that you knew and loved is gone. Nothing's there anymore. You've gone stripped back so far that you can only stay at home all day, every day.
Yeah.
Or go to the shops.
I keep going through it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or go to the shops.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, all I can do is sit at home or go to the shops or have a little cheeky drive on the way to the shop. That's where your car really comes in.
Yeah.
If at that point your car's rubbish, that is going to be the final straw. That is going to be the thing that tips you over the edge. But on the other hand, if you've got a car as good as this, it might just be the thing that lets you know that, do you know what? Life's not that bad.
Yeah.
I might not jump off a building.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the MX-5, it's always likely to be a car to strike up a lot of emotions, and you've said that this car has saved your life.
Yeah. When I bought this, the salesman said that this is the sort of car that you could go to work, and if you had a low at work, this is the car that you sit in, turn the engine on, and everything just evaporates.
Yeah.
And it does exactly that. Shortly after I got into the new job, I got into quite a bit of trouble that is perhaps not really my fault.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going up to Manchester and get trained weeks upon weeks upon weeks every day in the same classroom. And you would be forgiven, generally speaking, you would be forgiven if you were to make a few jokes along the way in the classroom. Nothing inappropriate, nothing sexist, racist or homophobic. Yeah. Just general jokes. And the thing is that when other people do it, who's, you know, white and British, nobody batters an eyelid, nobody says anything. Yeah. And yet when I did it, I got totally witch hunted. And that's not my words, that's what my other classmates said, is a witch hunt.
So you were singled out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Somebody call that racism.
Yeah.
Somebody would. Just saying. Anyway, I eventually got off the hook from that, and then I carried on and I passed my sign-offs. Yeah, and I got quite a lot of sticks at work, and sometimes you do get quite a lot of pressure at work as well, because when you're doing 4 persons jobs at the same time, you know, there are loads of deadlines, pressure and all that stuff, and if you've got a pressure release valve, which is this.
Yeah, good way of putting it, I like that.
Again, that is the one thing that saves you from jumping off a building.
Yeah.
I remember when COVID first started, the whole firm pretty much got furloughed.
Yeah.
Everybody was allowed to sit at home and they get paid, except us. And just us, out of the whole firm, has to carry on working.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really unfair, because at that time we don't have any hand sanitizers, we don't have face masks, we don't have no PPE for it, and yet they expect you to carry on going out there and risk your life.
Yeah.
I just thought, nah. And I properly exploded.
Really?
Yeah. I had a total meltdown, and so bad that my manager has to tell me that, right, you've got loads of holidays, why don't you take a couple of weeks off, which I did, so that they could find some solutions and buy some PPEs. And I took a few weeks off, initially sat at home because you're not really allowed to go anywhere at that point. A couple of weeks later, after, thanks to Mr. Cummins, we then realised that actually you're allowed to go for a drive.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to test your eyesight, but you're allowed to go for a drive. Okay, so I did then. That's when I took my car down to Hastings. Luckily back then, most people were still staying at home, so
it's
places are all, it's quite quiet and easily socially distanced.
Yeah.
And I got quite a few good pictures for that, which I said I will get them to you, so that you could put it in this video. And I remember the day after he announced that we got to carry on working with no PPE, I was coming in and I was so angry that my colleagues looked at me and think, wow, I've never seen him this angry.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, when I was back from the holiday, and my colleague told me, are you feeling better now? I was like, yeah, I am feeling quite better now, now that we've got all the PPEs and whatever it is that is needed for us to do our job. Because you came in that day and you look so angry, you look like you're about to kill someone.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no. And when I was looking like that, and my colleague, who was quite kind to me and he trained me as well, he said, look, we're not doing much here because there's, you know, clearly a lack of vehicles on the road.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a few hours off and go and have a drive in your car? Just be safe and sensible though. Don't you know, do anything dangerous. I was like, are you sure? Yeah, go and take a drive in your car. And that's where my sort of level of aggression dropped down quite a bit when I come back. I don't look like I want to kill someone anymore. But yeah, it was quite alarming to him because he trained me for quite an extensive period of time. And he said, I've never seen you looking that angry. You genuinely look like you're going to kill someone.
And on top of this, you're going through this already tough time, and you're having to battle with mental health as well.
Yes, the thing about being autistic is that they are quite socially awkward. They're quite introverts generally.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, they don't have a lot of friends. they don't really have a lot of friends that really understand them, and quite crucially, won't judge.
Yes.
People get addicted to things like drinks and drugs, and quite a lot of it is because everybody's got imperfections with their character and in their life, and there are various ways of dealing with it. Yes, you can go and talk to someone, but under COVID, to talk to someone face to face is very difficult.
Yeah.
Others, they probably just don't want people to know about maybe what they've done wrong or what they've got wrong or the problems they have. So they go to drink and drugs because they don't judge. They just give you a good time.
Yeah.
And the MX-5, it's not a legal substance. It's just a car, but it's a car that drives so well and won't judge you if you make a mistake, and it's so docile and it handles so well that when you're sitting in the driver's seat, you could just forget about it all and be yourself. I would say that if you're suffering from depression, but you're still mentally capable and good enough to drive, don't buy those expensive depression pills. Just take this out for a drive on a daily basis. You will be absolutely fine. That's what Jeremy Clarkson says.
Yeah.
This is a car equivalent of antidepressant pills. You can't be depressed driving this.
No.
Not possible.
It's so true. It's so true. Especially on a day like today.
Yeah.
Absolutely glorious.
And because my special interest, if you like, is on cars. I mean, I have been reading car magazines since I was 6, and I do this on a daily basis. That more or less got me into doing what I'm doing now, and this is the only thing that I know and loved and good at. So if anything, I'm not really good at socially interacting with other people.
Yeah.
I'm much better at being at the controls of machines.
Yeah, you're good, mate.
And there are some things that what I would say is that people who are not really interested in cars don't really get, is that they just see a car as a metal box with 4 wheels that gets you from A to B.
Yeah.
We are wired slightly different to that. We see them as creatures and lifelike beings.
So I think it's fair to say you have a strong emotional attachment to the car, but sadly you're having to let it go. How does that feel?
I've been trying to find words to describe it over the last couple of weeks. I remember the night before when I go and sign my paperwork to get my new car, which is a CX-30.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep that night.
I bet.
I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking, what is going to happen to the car?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, do I really need to save that extra £50 a month just so that I can afford a flat?
Yeah.
Because that is really the main reason for the switch. I needed to save money in order to get a deposit. And would I give up £50 each month for something that drives as nice as this? And if I have the money, honestly, I would.
Yeah.
But sadly, I don't.
Sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do, even if you may not want to.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to let this go. And I've been spending all night thinking, who's going to own this car after me? Is he going to look after it as well as I do?
Yeah.
Because when I took it back to the dealership, they just looked at it and went, It's like it just came out of the factory, except it's got 18,000 miles on it.
Yeah. That's quite a lot in 2 years. So it's been well loved and well used.
Yeah, I mean, I have to take it all over London for work.
Yeah.
So it has been used somewhat. And that's the thing about buying a car like this. I don't mean it to be a wallflower to sit in somebody's garage all the time, all day, every day. It's not really for that. It's a car that's built to be driven. And if you're going to drive it, it's going to gain mileage, or at some point it's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And you just got to accept it. I mean, there are people who are quite happy.
I'd say go right here.
To buy a Maserati MC12 and drive it around every day.
Yeah.
Car is meant to be driven, and it's, you know, it will pick up some stone chips and whatnot along the way. You just got to have to accept it.
It just adds experience to the car, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's no point buying a car only to sit in the garage. What's the point for that?
Exactly. Cars were built to be driven.
Yeah.
And to be loved and enjoyed.
Mm.
Sadly, not every love story has a happy ending though, as the MX-5 is no longer in Steve's possession. However, the memories that are left behind will always be there, and that's what cars like this are all about, making memories, evoking feelings and offering a release from the outside world. To many, a car is simply a means of getting about, a vessel in which to get from A to B. For others though, it's a source of escapism and even salvation.